I started working in the field in July of 2005. I remember going into the emergency shelter. It was just like a cowbell. We didn't have like any specialized security. It was just like you rang the cowbell and we had a little lock that you have like at a locker and we let you in. Mm-hmm. And it was just a home-like environment. So that was 16 years ago.
And at that time, shelters were operated from a really sort of rigid, punitive place of, lots of rules and conditions and requirements.
And at that time, we weren't networking. We weren't talking to each other as tribes, advocates. We weren't, sharing information or resources.
This topic is very sensitive, and some communities and some members don't even want to talk about it, but it's the advocates who are out there that are bringing that awareness out.
Being an advocate was about making sure that their needs came before anything else. And that at every step of the way, we were thinking about that person's physical and emotional safety.
Sometimes we think, okay, we're just going to have a one-size-fits-all. This is how it works on how to serve. But everyone's different. Everyone's culture looks different and how they experience or go through the process of domestic and sexual violence.
We are invisible, but to be a Native person from that community is 10 times more invisible. And the violence that happens, against them is just, astounding as well.
It was the beginnings of sort of teaching us about how a community should love and support survivors.
I've done things in Women of Color. At the time, that's what's called Communities of Color now, and just making sure that we're really serving those underserved populations. That's really my focus.
All of our tribal communities across the United States have violence, alcohol, and poverty as three big pieces of what is happening in their communities, of what they're trying to deal with.
We all need spaces where peacefulness and stillness and unconditional love exists.
We've had a good relationship with the coalition. They were really our first teachers in terms of domestic violence and sexual violence, and really helping to educate our tribes.
Victims and survivors are getting the proper resources available, the services available, even not only just to our tribal communities, victims and survivors who are living in tribal communities, but also our urban victims and survivors, making sure that they are also getting that needed service.
Now it's just really working on the after effect of it, the healing part of domestic violence and sexual violence versus just working in crisis.
There is so much power and beauty in the work. And I think that we have to continue to seek that out and make it visible.
I think we've come a long way, but just as I say that in that same breath, I think we still have a long way to go.
As time progressed and as we've got more research, more time in the field, I feel like there's more expectations that need to happen as far as funding goes.
I just feel grateful that I've had the opportunity to be here this long. And that it's just been the greatest gift in my life to do this work.